And it is time, as we do every Friday here on The Fan, to be joined by the head coach of the Dallas Cowboys, Mike McCarthy. Morning, Mike. How you doing, pal? Merry Christmas to you.
Merry Christmas. I hope everybody had a great week. Obviously Sean's having a great 2 weeks.
I know, right? Yeah, we had to worry about me last week, and then this week he's off. How did you handle Christmas at the McCarthy household?
Just family time. Just hung out with Jess and the girls, and got a little extra sleep. So it was a good day.
Nice.
Very, very family oriented.
So I wanted to ask you, I don't know if you saw last night's Thursday night game, and the schedule is so crazy this time of year. You had Wednesday games, and we don't have Wednesday games very often in this league. How difficult is this time of year to manage for a football coach?
Oh, it's a challenge. I mean, you have to, everybody has to go through it, but I think it's just like anything. It's it's what you believe in, and because I think doing schedules now for almost 2 decades. You have to get the work done. I mean, that's your responsibility to make sure the team is prepared and trained to win the next game, particularly on Christmas week. But I've tried it different ways earlier in my career, and frankly, I was never comfortable with the players and coaches working on Christmas. So we worked ahead, moved up everything as far as what we needed to do earlier in the week. So we worked Monday, Tuesday. Everybody was home for Christmas on Wednesday, and then we had a longer day yesterday, and we'll have a little longer day today. So we're still getting all the work done. But you could just see the appreciation and actually their energy, and that's been very consistent over my time, both in Green Bay and here in Dallas. That when you do give them that day off, the energy is incredible the next day.
Coach, we got the news yesterday that CeeDee Lamb is done for the remainder of the season. He's obviously been dealing with that shoulder issue and played a couple of really good games even with it. Just talk about his resilience and his toughness in the 5 years that you guys have spent together, because he's not a guy that is frequently talked about as being banged up or hurt, but obviously guys get banged up at the end of the season. So just talk about his toughness and the way that he's played through that.
Well, Bobby, you didn't even give me a follow-up on my Christmas schedule.
It was a great point. I thought you laid it all out there. I thought it was a great point.
I didn't get the memo. Are we on a script this morning or something? We got a bunch of things we got to knock out. But no, just kidding. CeeDee, obviously, well, we all know what he means to our football team, and he's been playing, with this shoulder for some time, and. When they had the scans and the examination, it just it was clearly worse than it's been. So, and the risk is too high. To play this week, even if this was if we were in week 3, this would probably be the same decision. So it's important for him to shut it down and start rehabbing.
Coach, you talk about that Christmas schedule and just the positive energy.
You don't have to go back.
No. I'm tying it into my next question.
Bobby's got a conscience.
Yeah.
There you go.
You know better than that.
Coach, no, but when you talk about guys who need to step up over these last 2 weeks, because obviously you guys are playing now without the playoffs in sight, but guys who you would like to see really step up and take advantage of this opportunity with CeeDee down. Is this something, a good opportunity for Jonathan Mingo or Ryan Flournoy? Or how do you look at the guys who need to step up and show you something here in these final 2 weeks?
Yeah, I think clearly you can start with the young players, and I know the veteran players, they want to finish, and you can start on offense. It's some of the things that we've been doing well over the last month, starting with the offensive line. We didn't run the ball, this past week against the Buccaneers, the way we've been running it the 3 weeks prior. So I know that as a unit, the offensive line really wants to have a good day there in Philadelphia, and it'll be a key to the victory too, going into that place too. So, but yeah, you could go right down the line with the rookies. I want to see Tyler Guyton, take a step, Cooper Beebe, all those guys. But this is such valuable work for all these players. I mean, you talk about the preseason being short, and there's nothing like game reps. There's nothing like game reps on the road. So, and there's nothing like game reps that lead to winning. So, I look at all of our guys that just have an opportunity to continue to play and keep playing to win, and it's something that we can build off in the off season.
Mike McCarthy joining us here at 105 through the Fan. Just curious, when you're deciding to let a guy play or not when he's got an injury, and it doesn't matter if it's as a head coach or when you were part of other programs early in your career, how much of player input goes into that versus just the training staff?
Well, I think at the end of the day, every player is control of it. It's his body, and no one knows your body better than you do. So, and it's not just a conversation for when an injury occurs. It's because this time of year, every player in this league is dealing with things that have accumulated over the course of a season. So it's an ongoing conversation. There's a reason why they do prehab. They don't wait till they get hurt to go into rehab. So they're always working on their bodies. I mean, that's why we invest the time in that we do on the stay program on Fridays. It's the reason why these guys spend so much time on their own investing in it. So that conversation, frankly, is ongoing. It's really the state of where they are, and if they can perform and go out and give us a chance to win as a team, and then they're part of that conversation to play that week.
Coach, I went back and tried to look at how many games you've coached where the team was officially eliminated, and it's less than 10. How different has this week felt?
Yeah, that's a great question. It's different. It really hit me, driving home after the Buccaneers game because it was such a punch in the gut. Because I was in the locker room when the Philadelphia and Washington game concluded, and it's different. I've been fortunate. You're always playing, for a playoff spot this time of year, but I think it's like anything. It's a time of adversity. It's a time where you're always preparing for change, adjustment, and emphasis, and that's always been the filter for growth that I believe in, and it's kind of put me into that mindset, earlier than normal.
How's Cooper Rush played differently that you've seen since the first time you all played Philly?
Oh, I think Cooper's just more into a rhythm. Clearly, I mean, Philadelphia was the first start, then, and just the way the game started for him, it just, he never really truly got into a rhythm. You could see it in his feet, and but I think he's played really good football for us here. Especially, I thought, the Buccaneers game was it was a game that was going to be a lot of uphill running because just the way they set their defensive front and the way they commit to stopping a run. And I thought he did a great job of just really staying on his back foot, getting through his progressions, and and getting the completions that we needed.
So, Coach, the last 17 games, full season worth that you've had to play with a backup quarterback here, you guys are 12-5. I know you've said before that Marty Schottenheimer taught you the philosophy of don't think of plays, think of players, in terms of making sure the system fits your players rather than players having to fit your scheme or your system or whatever you want to do. Do you think that that's been the overriding philosophy that has gotten you guys to that 12-5 record over those last 17? Is the fact that, hey, this is a system and an offense that anybody can feel comfortable in regardless of when they step in?
Yeah, definitely, Bobby. I think clearly, it's a starting point philosophically. I don't think there's a question about that. But I mean, there are so many factors and elements involved in dealing with the adversity of injuries, and just the credit really ultimately goes to the locker room. I mean, because the locker room has to accept the next man up mentality, and they have to stick. They got to keep the belief high, and because that's where the confidence comes. Because you win with confidence in the National Football League. You have no chance to be successful in this league if you don't have real confidence. And I think our guys have done a really, really good job of that.
Mike McCarthy joining us here on 105 through the Fan. He is brought to you by Black Rifle Coffee Company, the official coffee of the Dallas Cowboys. Saquon's having a tremendous year. I mean, he's always been a great player, but does he look any different than what he did when he was with the Giants?
Oh, I would say, physically, he's always been, a gifted player without a doubt. So I would say physically, I wouldn't say he looks any different, but he's more mature. He looks very comfortable in this offense. This offense is built around the run, and he's the featured player, and and he's having a great year. I think what I appreciate about the way he plays is the way he hammers it up in there for the 4, 5, 6, 7 yard consistent runs, but you tend to forget this guy can go the distance. He has great breakaway speed, and it's been a huge part of their success. You look at these performances that he has, but it's almost weekly where he's banging a run for 30, 40, 50 yards. So, but yes, this is clearly the best that I've seen him play. But he's always. There's a reason why he was a top draft pick. He's a very, very gifted player.
He's closing in on the NFL single-season rushing record, Eric Dickerson's record that's stood for 40 years. Is that a point of competitive pride at all for your defense? You think of just like, hey, we're not going to help contribute to letting this guy break a record. We're not going to be part of this.
We're really not about the record. We're really just about keeping him in check and winning the game. We're not thinking about that. And you talk about a great Hall of Fame running back in Eric Dickerson. It's a tribute to any running back to even be in part of that conversation, because that's definitely a record that has stood for quite some time.
What is the mode of preparation, or how do you guys look at things when you've got a primary quarterback in Jalen Hurts who is dealing with an injury and you're trying to figure out who you're getting ready for? How do you split up that time preparing for two different quarterbacks who are very different stylistically?
Well, the good thing is you've played a lot against Jalen, so you feel like you have an understanding of how he plays, and obviously he had a big game against us in the first game. Particularly getting out of the pocket. So, you really have to spend your time on Kenny Pickett, and just to make sure we're in tune. How we feel about him as a quarterback, and how we feel they're going to use him. And there's a lot of tape in the Washington game, because Jalen's injury was obviously very early in the game. So, yeah, that's just it's just part of preparation. And and then it's not against the law for them to go play with two quarterbacks this week too. So you got to be ready for the whole crew.
I guess you don't have to worry about the tush push though, right?
I don't know about that. Yeah, I hope not.
It's a tough play. Hey, Coach, we appreciate it. Good luck on Sunday, and then don't party too hard on New Year's.
Oh, you bet. Happy New Year, everyone.